Hey guys, welcome to Talk to Yue. Today I want to work with you on one of the sections that people often find the most difficult of the HSK 3 exam, and that is the first component of the Yue Du section. As you can see, the first type of exercise of the reading section is this matching sentences type of exercise. So you have options A to F, and you have to match them to the numbered sentences like this. And there are 2 pages with the same kind of exercise. People often find this the most difficult exercise because it is a lot of reading. You need to know your characters well. You need to be able to read it kind of fast and also be able to understand the logical connections between the questions and the answers. So today, let's go and look at it together closely. So first thing you have to do when you approach the HSK in any section is always eliminate the example sentence. Otherwise, you will get confused. So sentence E is not an option for us because it is there just as an example. So let's zoom in and start reading the first sentence. Sentence A says, 有不清楚的地方，大家可以问我. Now, 地方 usually means place or location, but in this case, when it is in this kind of sentence, 有不清楚的地方, it is used to mean if there is anything unclear, if there is any doubt. 大家可以问我. Everybody can ask me. So we can imagine this is the kind of situation where somebody can explain something to someone else, for example, between a 学生 and a 老师. So let's go into the numbered sentences and see which one of these will make the most sense. Of course, this is the first sentence we are reading, and we will have to read all these sentences, so it will take a bit of time, but it will get easier as we progress through the exercise. So let's read number 41. 他的习惯和我们不一样，他更愿意去教室。他的习惯 her habit and ours 不一样, they are not the same. She much prefers 她更愿意去 she tends to go to a 教室 to a classroom. So we have the classroom setting potentially. We were talking about 老师学生, but the logical connection with our sentence A is not so clear because we don't know who should be talking to who, and we also don't know who 他 refers to. So let's read further. 42. 菜点完了，你想喝点什么？啤酒? So the food 点完了, it has been ordered. We finished ordering the food. 你想喝, do you want to drink a bit of what? 点什么？啤酒, beer. Now this is not related to our sentence about having any doubts, any questions. So let's read further. 43. 你有什么好办法吗？你快想想。办法 is a word from the word list of HSK 3. It is used to mean method, usually used as a solution to do something or to solve a problem. In this case, we don't know what the situation is. It is not very clear. A solution to solve what? So it could be related to the idea of having questions, having doubts, but let's see if there's a sentence that makes even more sense. 44. 马上这个节目还有10分钟就结束了. This 节目, this program, meaning TV program, it still has 10 minutes until it 结束, it finishes. Again, not related to having any doubts or questions. Let's read the last one. 45. 昨天课上讲的那个题，你们会做了吗? So 昨天课, this is a relative sentence, so we need to read 那些题 because it comes after the 那些题, those questions or those problems, we don't know, we have to read further. So those questions that were 讲, they were discussed, they were explained in 昨天课上 during yesterday's lesson. 你们会做了吗? Were you able to do them? So this is exactly the sentence we were looking for because it follows logically that after this sentence, the teacher that is speaking might ask, if you have any questions, you can ask me. So 45, we had to read all the way until the end of the exercise, but we found the sentence that matches with A. So now we go back up and we do the same with the other sentences. So to avoid any confusion, let's strike A as well. So A is now matched. We don't need to care about it anymore. Let's read B. 遇到问题时不要太着急。你觉得李阿姨一定可以帮我们的忙。So 遇到, again a word from the HSK 3 list. Encountering, meeting. 遇到问题时, this is a shorter version of 的时候. So when you encounter problems, 不要太着急. You don't need to be too nervous, anxious, worried. 我觉得, I think, 李阿姨, Li is a surname, so Aunt Li. 一定, certainly, 可以帮我们的忙, certainly can help us. So let's go back and read the sentences. Now we don't need to spend so much time reading them carefully anymore because we already know roughly what they are about. Number 41 was about the 习惯, so the habit of somebody. It does mention a ta, and is also a woman, so it could be an ai, but it does not follow logically with the idea of studying or going into a 教室, into a classroom. So it is not 41. Maybe is it 42? 42 was talking about ordering food, 菜点完了, and drinking beer, 啤酒. So it is not 42 either. 43. 你有什么好办法吗? Do you have a good solution? Now, this makes more sense because the other sentence starts by saying when you encounter problems, so it is related to the idea of having to find a banfa, a method, a way to solve a situation. So it is indeed number 43. What solution do you have? We don't know what the problem is, but we know that the people are looking for a problem. The people are talking about how to approach problems and saying we should ask Aunt Li for help. So it is indeed number 43. It is the one that matches the most. So that is B. Then let's go read C. 晚上开吃，来杯茶或者苹果汁吧。晚上 in the evening, 开吃 driving. So there is no subject, but we can interpret it as when I'm driving or when driving in general. 来 order is synonym of 点. Order 杯茶, a cup of tea, 或者 or 苹果汁, apple juice. So this, it's probably quite clear. We are talking about drinks and driving. So it is number 42, the one that talks about 啤酒. As you see, it becomes much, much faster once you have read the 41 to 45 options already. So we are left with the two last sentences. D. 图书馆里比较安静。我喜欢在那儿学习。So we're talking about a 图书馆, library. In the library, it is rather 安静, calm, quiet, peaceful. I like to study there. So we're talking about 学习, about studying. We have two sentences that still need to be matched. It is between number 41 and 44. 41 talks about her habit, 她的习惯. Her habit and ours are not the same. She prefers going to a classroom, a 教室. This makes sense because we're talking about studying and 图书馆 and places you find on campus. So it is most likely number 41. But let's read number 44 just to be sure. Number 44, as we remember, it is saying 这个节目. So it's talking about a TV program and the fact it will finish in 10 minutes. So it is not number 44, it is indeed number 41. So by exclusion, we know that F will be number 44, but just to be sure, let's read it and see if it makes sense. Otherwise, we would have to go back and see if we paired some sentences wrong. F says, 别看了，把电视关了吧，明天还要上班呢。So don't watch, 别看了，把电视关了。关 is the opposite of 开. When used together, they are like in English, turn on and turn off. So turn off the TV. Tomorrow you still have to work. 明天还要上班呢. we're talking about a 电视, about a TV, and it makes sense because the last sentence that we have left talks about a 节目, which we said is a program that will end in 10 minutes. So this is the first part of the 阅读. This is the first 5 questions, and then we follow with the other 5 questions. Same process, same type of exercise. Usually these last 5 sentences are slightly harder, or the logical connection is a bit more loose, a bit harder to guess. So let's do exactly the same with this exercise. Note that here we have sentences A to E to match with sentences 46 to 50. We don't have an example anymore, so we don't need to tick off any sentence before starting. So let's try to read sentence A. 已经都吹快了，小常，您放心吧。Everything has already been solved. 小常 is the principal of a school, so we are talking about a school. 您放心吧. Please relax, don't worry. So let's go read 46 to 50. 46 says, 他女朋友比他大1岁，很可爱，而且很聪明。His girlfriend, compared to him, 比他大1岁, is older by 1 year. She is very cute, 很可愛. Moreover, 而且, she is very intelligent. She's very smart. So this is not related to a school or solving problems. So we can go further. 47. 奶奶，家里是不是没水果了? Grandma, so there is a grandma, so it's probably not matching with our sentence. Grandma, inside of the house, is there or is there not fruit? So unrelated. So let's go to 48. 上次会上说到的那些问题怎么样了? So 那些问题, those problems or those questions that 上次会上说到了, that were discussed in the previous meeting, how are they? So here we're talking about 问题, so it is possible that we can match it with our sentence. What happened to the issues we discussed last time? They were all solved, do not worry. So let's read number 49 and 50 to see if there is anything that matches more than this. 49 says, 你等我一下，我去换一双鞋就来. So wait for me a little bit. I will go return or change a pair of shoes and then come back. So it is not related. Number 50 says, 他去火车站了，我刚才在电梯门口看见他了. He went to the train station. I have just seen him at the entrance outside of the elevator. So the sentence that matches the most with A is 48. Then let's move on to B. 一起去踢足球，好不好? Playing football together. Is it okay? Do you want to do it? So let's see. 46 was describing somebody's girlfriend. 47 was talking about someone's grandma and asking if there is fruit in the house. So it's certainly not this one. 48 we already matched. 49 says, 你等我一下. Wait for me a little bit. So it could be. The person in sentence B asks, do you want to play football? The other person says, wait for me. I will first run this errand and then I will come back. So it's probably number 49 because number 50 is talking about a ta that is not mentioned anywhere. And the question also doesn't say, where is he or have you seen him? So it is number 49. It is the one that matches the most. But as you see, compared to the previous exercise, it is slightly more difficult to understand the logical link between the sentences. So let's see letter C. 冰箱里还有不少香蕉和葡萄呢. We're talking about a fridge, about bananas and grapes. So this fits very much with the sentence about 水果. So number 47. So it is very fast to match this one. Then D is asking about 小王, which is a name. 小王没来. 小王 didn't come. 打他电话怎么一直没人接? call him and ask why, literally 怎么, how, but it means why nobody ever takes him or nobody ever gives him a lift or accompanies him. So we're talking about a Xiao Wang, and we only have options 46 or 50. We both have ta, we talk about ta, but for option 46, we're talking about his girlfriend, while this is not very related to the sentence D. So everything we have left is number 50, and it makes sense. We are asking how come Xiao Wang is not coming or isn't here, and the person says, well, I have seen him at the train station. So it is D. And then like before, let's see if E matches with 46. It should make sense by now if we did everything correctly. 我们是经过同事介绍认识的，已经认识2年了。So he's talking about knowing someone. 认识. They are colleagues. 同事. There is no ta mentioned, so we don't know if we're talking about a man or a woman, but it makes sense that since we are talking about meeting someone and introducing each other to somebody, the person says, well, I already have known her for 2 years, and he can describe her saying, this girlfriend is cute and smart. So we have paired all the sentences. As you see, it is quite a bit of work because you need to read, you need to know your characters. But if you apply this very systematic way of going through the exercise, then you also can work a bit with your instincts and a bit of exclusion work if you find a word that you don't know. And hopefully this will help you with getting the most out of your HSK exam. So thank you guys for going through this exam simulation with me, and I will see you in other videos with other exercises that we will solve together. 再见!